Today we're moving right along to lesson 3.4, module 3, lesson 4. Your learning goal today is to be able to add fractions where the sum is going to be between 1 and 2. In yesterday's work, when we added fractions, were our sums greater than 1 or less than 1? Take a look at your problem sets or your math notes. Yesterday, were the sums greater than 1, equal to 1, or less than 1? Aditya?
They were both, because I noticed in our homework because one of them was 36.
That's true. We did have one that was above 1. But for the most part, most of them were less than 1, right? Mm-hmm. Today we're going to look at what happens and how we can draw models to add fractions with sums between 1 and 2. Here we have two addition problems, 1/3 plus 1/4. We also have 1/2 plus 3/4. I want you to turn and talk to your table group, and you're not solving them. Okay, are you solving them?
No.
I just want you to think in your head, you're not writing anything down. Are these sums going to be greater than or less than 1? Okay, talk to your table group.
Yeah.
Because if the first addend is 1/3, right? And I hear Ella saying it would take 2/3 to make that one whole, right? 1/3 plus 2/3 equals 1. Do you guys agree? But let's look at what we have. 1/4. Is that greater than or less than 2/3? Less than. So if I'm adding something that's less than 2/3, can that sum possibly be greater than 1? No. What about for part B, Reagan? Is that going to be greater than or less than 1?
Greater than, because you need 2 halves to make a whole, and 1/2 is obviously 1/2, and 2/4 is 1/2, since you have 3/4.
Yeah, so same thing. I hear you thinking the same way Ella did. We would need to add 1/2 to this 1/2 to become a whole. But we can see that 3/4 is bigger than 1/2. So that sum there is going to be greater than 1. Okay, let's take a look at this problem. 4/5 plus 1/2. Go ahead and write just the problem down in your notebook. 4/5 plus 1/2. Hey, is this sum going to be greater than 1 or less than 1, and how do you know? Think about it in your head and then raise your silent hand. So Sophia said, this sum I think is going to be greater than 1 because I can think I would need to add 1/5 to this 4/5, and 1/2 is bigger than 1/5, right, by a lot. So this must be greater than 1. Another way you can think about it is you would have to add 1/2 to this half to make it 1. And is 4/5 bigger or smaller than 1/2? Bigger. So this sum must be larger than 1. Okay, let's draw our models and let's see how we can add these two. Because can we add it right away? No, the denominators are different. So go ahead and draw in your notebook a model to represent 4/5 like this and label it. And a model to represent 1/2 like that and label it. When we draw our models, remember we're trying to overlay them, right? So now, can we see if I overlap it, my 1/4 and my 1/2, if I drew them better, can you see how that's how I get these models over here? Do you guys see what I mean by overlaying?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so when I overlay those, how many total sections do I get in my rectangle? 10, which means my new denominator is 10. Good. Okay. And the 4/5, how many are colored in now? There used to be 4 of the 5ths, but how many of the 10ths are colored in now? Take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8/10. And then how many of the 10ths are colored in over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, for those of you who are thinking about the LCM or the least common denominator and doing it using the math, do you guys see how the pictures represent the same thing? Good. So we need to always be able to draw pictures to model it. So even, I'm going to state this one more time, even if you know how to do this just with numbers, I'm expecting to see models. Okay? Using models is another tool to help us explain what we understand about math. Now that we have 8/10 plus 5/10, are we ready to start adding?
Yes.
How do we know we can add already? Sporty?
Because the denominators are...
Yeah, now our denominators are the same. They're both 10, so we're ready to start adding. If I have 8/10 and I'm going to add another 5/10 to it, how many tenths do I have altogether? 13/10. Is that answer bigger or smaller than 1?
Bigger than 1.
Because the numerator is larger than the denominator, we know that that's larger than 1. Is that what we expected when we first saw 4/5 plus 1/2? Yeah. So to write this in simplest form, we need to split it out. How many tenths does it take to make one whole? 10. So this is the same as 10 tenths. If I take 10 tenths out of that, how many tenths do I have left? 3. So this is the same thing, equivalent to 10 tenths plus 3 tenths, yes? Which is equivalent to 1 whole and 3 tenths. So the sum is 1 and 3 tenths.